Hello, my name is Joseph Alai. Welcome to my channel. And today I'd like to talk about all things are possible. So this saying comes from the Bible, and I found it to be entirely true. So I get asked this question a lot. Is it possible that I can get this? Or because of this thing that's happened, is it still possible that I can do this? The answer is 100% yes. So what I'd like to do is explain a little bit how, straight from the Bible and then also quantum physics, how both of those together basically verify, and then through my own personal experience and the experience of thousands of you guys, that they explain and prove that all things are possible, and then how to get the thing that you want. So in the Bible, I want to read this verse and then I'll explain it after because it correlates to quantum physics perfectly and what they call the quantum field. And so here's my Bible, right? So it says, this is the King James Version, but it says, "In my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. I go to prepare a place for you. And if I go and prepare a place for you, I will come again and receive you unto myself, that where I am, there you may be also." So this is essentially the foundation of all of Neville Goddard's teachings, as well as any law of attraction teacher or manifestation teacher. And these mansions that it's spoken of is actually referring to states or dimensions. So another word for mansion is dimension. And so basically what it's saying here is that as it relates to quantum physics, in the quantum field there are infinite potential. And when you select one and when you feel as if you are in it, you bring it to life and you will inevitably experience it. So this is actually groundbreaking because it states that everything exists now in this present moment, that all things exist and therefore all things are possible. And when you learn how to manifest, when you go through the process of beginning to impress the subconscious mind with the thing that you desire, you realize that what happens is you select a state, you select a mansion, you select a dimension with your imagination. And then when you feel it, that's how you bring it to life. That's how you actually choose to experience it. And then no matter what it takes for you to experience that thing, no matter what must unfold for you to experience the thing you've imagined, will happen. So all things exist now. That means that there is somewhere that we can't see with our own eyes, a place where you have exactly what you want. Somewhere in potential, there is a state or dimension that exists that has exactly what you want. Now, in quantum physics, there's something called wave collapse. So, without getting into too much detail, all possibilities exist now. And as it talks about an observer effect in quantum physics, that when someone expects something to happen, that will happen. So they did this experiment with the two-slit experiment, which is when the particles there were two slits and they were shooting particles, but they were shooting it dead on. Now, when they expected the particle to go through the left slit, that's exactly what would happen. When they were expecting it to go through the right slit, that's exactly what would happen. So it was not probability. And essentially, the assumption that this particle would go to the left or the right was what made it happen. But actually what's happening here, as the formulas of quantum physics explain, is that there's something called a wave collapse. So when you take this experiment, and this is applied to anything you want, right? So say you want a vacation, okay? Now, if you assume or imagine that you are not going to go on vacation, right? So there's infinite potentials. But you can look at it as a chance, as if there's you go and you don't go. But there's infinite possibilities of what can actually happen. when you assume something, or when you expect something, or when you imagine something, you collapse that possibility, that wave, that's what it's called, a wave, right? A wave of that possibility. And when you collapse that wave of possibility, you experience it, or it manifests in this physical world. This goes for everything. Now, there's infinite dimensions, which means there's apparently infinite copies of all of us. Now, for me personally, I have experienced manifesting everything I want. Now, if there had been someone going up against me and trying to manifest this, right? It's my reality, it's my possibility, and I select that possibility through my imagination, and I will experience it, right? I've proven this over and over and over again. But the thing is that they will experience the same thing. So the idea comes down to, how do I be the one to collapse the wave? How do I experience what I want? How do I enter that mansion or that state? And this is where Neville Goddard's techniques come in, that I've proved thousands and thousands of times. So the way to do this is actually through the subconscious mind. So the subconscious mind is the thing that is creating everything that we experience. Everything that we assume. So when we believe something, we are collapsing a wave of belief in that thing that we believe. So if I believe that money comes to me easily and effortlessly, I collapse that wave over and over, infinite. And then I will constantly be proven that, right? Because I will constantly experience things that collapse that wave, constantly experience things that prove to me that money comes to me effortlessly and easily. If I want a vacation, I imagine that I have that vacation, that I've experienced it already in past tense, and I will collapse that wave and I will experience it. So to collapse the wave, right? It talks about this also in the Bible, and it says, when you pray, believe you have already received it, and you shall. Okay, and it also says in the Bible that all things are possible to him that believes, or through God all things are possible. That's another verse. So what this means is that in that verse I spoke to you about, it says, when you pray, believe you have already received it, and you shall. That is the secret to manifesting anything you want. That's the secret to collapsing your wave, right? So what you do is, in that verse, so when you pray, which means when you imagine, believe that you have already received it, right? Imagine the end, right? If you have already received it, you're imagining the end. So when you pray, when you imagine the end, and you will have it. You will select that mansion. You will select that state. You will select that dimension. So the idea here is, when you pray, what you're actually doing, or when you imagine, what you're actually doing is impressing the subconscious mind. So as I said before, the subconscious mind is the thing that constantly collapses waves, right? It plants a seed, so to speak, in your subconscious mind. And when it plants that seed, inside of it is a pattern, or all things that are necessary for you to experience the thing that you've planted. So the idea here is to impress upon the subconscious mind. So you basically outline what you want in full fruition, right? Now, since all things are possible, right? All things are possible. You select what you want, okay? There's no difficulty in manifesting anything, because as it says in the Bible, as it says in quantum physics, what you want already exists. So never look at things as they are difficult to obtain. Never look at things as anything except for you are selecting a state, right? So you select what you want first, okay? Then you find, what would it be like if you had already received it, right? Believe you have already received it. What would it be like if you already received it, if you already had it, if you were already that person now? So take, for example, maybe a wife, if you want to be married, or a husband, if you want to be married, what would be the end? The end would be having a wedding band on, a wedding ring, right? So what you would do is you would shut off the senses, because this is how to impress the subconscious mind. So you've outlined what you're going to do, right? The sign, or the symbol, as if and only if your desire had been fulfilled, is a wedding ring. You would not be wearing a wedding ring unless you were married. So you you shut off your senses, and inside your imagination, you wear a wedding ring. You hold it in your hand. You have it on. You're maybe rotating it around. You feel the steel, the coldness of it. Whatever you would be thinking, feeling, doing, and acting, whoever you'd be talking to, you want to outline this in that scene and then bring it into your imagination. Because faith, believing, right? So it says, all things are possible to him that believes. So when it says, believe you have already received it and you shall, what this is talking about is while you are imagining, feel as if you're really there. Feel as if it's true, as if it's happening right now. So if you have this wedding ring on your finger, right? If you have the check for $100,000 in your hand, if you have the house that you wanted to live in and you were in it, acting as if, feeling the feelings as if you were really there in your imagination, in first person point of view, right? Acting as if, looking through your own eyes, in your own body, in the scene, in the end result. If you can feel as if it's real, you're selecting the dimension. You're planting the seed. You're choosing the mansion that you want to be in. And once you feel it real, that is how you collapse the wave. That is how you plant the seed. That is how you select the mansion. You drop it after that, or you fall asleep while doing it, one or the other. And then you drop it and you carry on, and you, in a matter of time, in its own appointed hour, you will experience that manifestation on the screen of space. It will erupt, and you will eventually, in some way that you could not conceive, you will end up walking through a bridge of incidents, and it will automatically appear in your awareness. And there's no question about this. This is exactly how it works. I've tested this thousands and thousands of times, right? This is what I tell my clients. This is what I respond in emails to. I just give you guys a ton of different ways to explain this, but this is the most simplest, pure form of this. So anyway, I hope you liked this. If you did, definitely subscribe. Go to the website sovereignmind.com and register for unlisted videos. Like this video, and definitely stay tuned for more. Thank you so much for watching.